all the way from Kenya via Vancouver, via Maui, to San Diego, California. And here they sit at the Rancho del Sol with us to just, share 4 weeks of what it's like to live on the PH Miracle Plan. And in that 4 weeks, literally have a transformation, from a death sentence, theoretically a death sentence, to, geez, I can live as long as I need to or want to, as long as I take care of my body and keep it alkaline. So I'd like to welcome Beatrice and Ephraim Kubai.
Thank you, Shari and Dr. Yang. Well, it's a pleasure for us to be sitting here with such a nice family who have welcomed us with their open hands into their home. Beatrice and I are grateful to be here in the first place, and grateful also to God for the miracle that He has revealed to us. Just briefly, I was born in Kenya 61 years ago, and did my early school in Kenya. And then last year, when I went to do my annuals, with my GP in Nanus Bay, where we live, in a small town called Parksville, I did the annuals and I did the PSA, and he decided to do the PSA and so on in January, and then the PSA was 6.7. Then I went away for 6 months. I had to go back, we were traveling again because we travel a lot. Then we came back in July, and he said, I think we better repeat because, the other one was high, just to make sure that, And the PSA was 7.6, and the free PSA was also below 10%. On that basis, he said, I think I better send you to a urologist and do a biopsy. And then the Gleason, and then he said the Gleason number was,
what was that?
4 plus 4, which was 8.
Okay.
I said, and what does that mean? Well, it means 8 is on the high side, but the problem is your cancer is very aggressive.
Right.
And if it's not treated now, immediately, it could spread into your bones and into your lymph nodes and so on. So what do you want to do? I said, at that time, Beatrice was sitting, beside me. I said, obviously, you have just told us this now. We need to go away and think about it, because we can't just come up with an answer now. Then after that, I talked to the urologist, and he gave me the options of basically surgery and radiotherapy. And then he enumerated all the side effects of both treatments, and was scaring.
Well, share some of those side effects.
Well, the obvious one, the side effects is the continence, the leakage of the blood, incontinence,
right,
and the bowel, because when they are doing the surgery, they interfere with the rectum,
right.
So you have problem with the bowel movements, and also because when they are doing the surgery, they interfere with the nerves, and obviously, there's a big risk. I think he put it at 50% risk of impotence.
Right.
But he said, there's no problem. The way he said it is no problem, because we can put an implant to correct that. Because of erections and so forth. I said, okay, that's good. And what is the next one? Is the radiotherapy. So that is going to have exactly the same symptoms. And the other problem is that could also cause cancer in itself. And then after a while, I got a call from the first urologist who did the diagnosis, and he had made another arrangement for a meeting to go and see an oncologist. So on the 12th, I think the 12th of January, Beatrice and I drove to Victoria to meet the oncologist, and we met the oncologist, a nice guy called Dr. Lim, and we had a nice chat with him, and he explained everything, and he didn't offer any hope either. And he only confirmed what the radiologist had said. But for him, because he's an oncologist, he was treading towards
chemotherapy,
radiotherapy. The other guy was a surgeon. He was going for surgery. And Beatrice asked me at one point, how would you feel if you sought opinion down south? I said, down south where? It's down south of the border. I said, I'm ready to do anything. So that's the time she remembered. She had bought, Dr. Young's book 2 years prior, The pH Miracle, and she went all over her bookcase and she came up with a book, and she looked at some testimonials.
Right.
I said, she asked me to read the testimonials, and I read these things. I said, wow. And as soon as I finished that, I think I was on the computer checking on the website for your contact and so on. And that's the point at which I called you. When I went through, I told Beatrice, if you look at the fridge, I think these items will not probably feature very well with Dr. Young. So we went through the fridge before we left on the 22nd of January, and we took out all the meats. Then we started, trying to start eating the vegetables on a regular basis.
So we had the opportunity to meet in Maui, and we took a look at your blood, and that's where I suggested that we really need to take a look at what you're eating and what you're drinking.
If I start with the diet, I was very apprehensive initially. Okay, I said, this is nice and well, but I'm going to do this on a long term. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure because, am I going to eat veggies all the rest of my life? So I was a little bit apprehensive about that. But when I started, drinking, I thought I would get hungry. Initially, I got hungry. But the more I drank, the less hungry I became. Drinking greens. pH water.
Yeah, high pH water.
That's right. So I think the first few days I had a very, very bad headache. But that cleared as I went along. And as we remember the demonstration you did for the shake.
Yeah.
In your house, and
right.
I think that was a godsend.
Yeah, you needed that.
That was our staple. Just bring some
shake.
grease here and you got a meal. Yes. But that minute, that the day that I saw you on the 25th of March, of January, that was my first good night's sleep, because you replaced fear with hope.
So you got a chance to see your blood again. Did you notice any changes from when we saw it in Maui?
That's right, yeah.
So there was improvement there. We decided to use traditional medical tests.
That's right.
Okay? So just to verify that what we were seeing could be substantiated too as well using a traditional PSA test, a prostatacancer, specific antigen test. And so we went ahead and did a blood draw. We have a doctor that does that for us, and she took the blood. We sent it into the lab. We got the results back, and then I called you with the good news. And what was that good news?
Yeah, and to hear it was one.
Right.
Incredible. After 4 weeks of
Wow.
alkaline diet, it is. Oh, I tell you, it was not. I think it was the best news I've had, in a long, long time. And when I broke the news to Beatrice, who was there listening to the phone conversation with you, she started crying, and we held each other.
Of course.
And we just cried and cried,
With the joy, of
with
course.
the joy.
Yeah. Bravo.
Out
Bravo.
of this world, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.